good benefits. For the newcomers that have not lost something that they had, that's a whole different story. But for an officer that signed up and said that, you know, that spousal carve out has really affected my ability to feed my family. You know, I was depending on a defined pension. I was depending on, you know, certain benefits that I signed up for. Man, that's a tough one. Yes, and that's why I'm your advocate. You know, so you know, I've been your advocate for 26 years in different ways, but now give me a chance to help you help yourselves.
One thing I definitely will say, you have no problem with coming out saying that, you know, we need to give these officers the benefits and resources that they deserve to be able to protect the city. You came out day one saying that, and I really definitely appreciated that. And I was wondering if you were going to do that tonight, and you just jumped right on out there. So that says a lot. You know, it's just coming from me, Patrolman Mike Williams, but that definitely.
President Mike Williams, Mr. President.
I pray daily to humble myself too. But that definitely says a lot. Now we're going to go to commercial break real quick, but before we do, because I want to open up the phone lines, okay. I want you guys to call in if you have any questions that you'd like to ask the director. I ask that you keep your questions short and keep them in context and make them to the point, so that we can get as many questions answered by you, the citizens, or you, the officers, as we can. But in saying that, you coming here tonight, was it something that you wanted to convey to the listening audience or the viewing audience?
Thank you.
That was short and to the point.
Hey, I want to thank the officers for coming to work. Okay. You know, every day, officers are putting their life on the line to protect the citizens. And I think people need to know that. You know, we cannot always make the right call. Sometimes we get it wrong. You know, when we get it wrong, I'm gonna be the first one in front of you saying, hey guys, we didn't get that one right. But when we get it right, you know, I want people to recognize that. You know, I want to be a champion for the men and women of MPD, and not just the police officers, because we have some dedicated civilians, dispatchers that are out there that are working overtime, that are being drafted, so they can answer a 911 call. You know, they're missing time with their families too, just like the police officers. You know, we've got dedicated civilians working in all areas throughout the city. They all got the same goal. You know, they're serving the citizens of Memphis, and that's an honorable and admirable thing to do. And I want the officers to know that you have an honorable and admirable profession. We are proud of you. Do not hold your head down for a second. You are the key to the city's prosperity. We need you. We need you. We need you.
And on that note, we're going to go ahead on and take a quick commercial break. Please do not touch that dial. Stand by. Get your phones out. We're going to come back. We're going to have the number up, and please call in. And this is your opportunity to address the director of the Memphis Police Department. This is Wake Up Memphis from Behind the Badge. We'll be right back. The city of Memphis is not broke. Over the past several years, city leaders have closed community centers, closed public libraries, reduced the allotted number of police officers and firefighters. They have also raised taxes. They give away millions of dollars to businesses and pet projects while they cut programs and public safety services that directly affect you. Our city is not broke, but its priorities are broken. Get the facts at memphispoliceassociation.org.
Even though they know it's not true, some city leaders are saying that the average Memphis police officer gets 66 days off each year. Most officers get about 2 weeks, which is the average for corporate America. But a police officer's job is anything but average. Tell city officials to keep police services strong. Get the facts at memphispoliceassociation.org.
911. My daddy is hitting my mommy. Let me get you some help. Dispatcher, I have a domestic disturbance in progress.
I have no cars available. All units are on other calls.
My mommy's on the floor bleeding.
Since 2013, 346 officers have left the Memphis Police Department. That's 346 fewer officers available to respond to calls for help like this one. Stand up, Memphis. Tell the mayor and the city council to support our police department.
And we're back to Wake Up Memphis from Behind the Badge, again sponsored by the men and women of the Memphis Police Association. All right, so they want to come out and give us an anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Marcus.
Oh, so that's why y'all.
So that's why they're here.
That is nice.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it last week, last week was our second year anniversary on the show, and we have the young man and the young lady here that is the ones that make this all possible for us to be here. And so I guess
This is actually the owner, Sam, of SVP TV Network, and this is Miss Debbie. She's the one run SVP TV Network. Actually, he's actually trying to make up to us because he forgot our anniversary last week. Our anniversary is the same day as Thaddeus. But we want to say thank you. It's definitely been a privilege being on SVP TV.
Thank you, sir.
And this is our second year. It looks too pretty to cut.
Looks real good. Looks real good.
We're gonna go ahead and get that. We're gonna go ahead on and get the phone lines. Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, call you on Wake Up Memphis. Thank you, Sam.
Hey, Marcus McKinney, how y'all?
Hey, how you doing, Miss McKinney?
Yeah, hey, Mike.
Hey, what's up, sir?
Yeah, that Director Hollins?
Director Rollins.
Rollins.
How you
Yes,
doing,
sir.
sir?
Yeah, Director, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing outstanding. Yourself?
That's good. And you say you went to Wooddale?
Yes, sir, I did.
You remember Easy Hard, did she ever teach you out in that Wooddale?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm going to get to the point. I was thinking you was talking about community and how, you know, I also offered it, Roy, I don't know whether you're in the precinct or not, but walk the beat like Mike did. Do you remember Officer Friendly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Off the top of your head, you remember him?
Yes. He looks like me.
Yeah, but he was emphasizing, you know, the community and how you so you stop by and talk to the people and how you guys doing, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Mike does it all the time and Bob, you know, include, you know, like I'm one of you all, you know, I'm the man of the badge, but I'm also a community person like you. So we don't need to be enemies, right?
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Would you agree on that, sir?
Oh, without a doubt. But let me tell you how you can help. Okay, because you know, I don't know if you've ever been in a foreign land
Right.
where you may not speak the language, you may not be familiar with the culture. So we have officers that are coming from all different walks of life that may feel like they're in a foreign land. But I tell you what, when you're in a different place and people are reaching out to embrace you, and they say, "Hey, officer, how you doing? Come over here and sit and talk to us." Or they offer you a glass of lemonade or a cup of coffee. Sometimes, you know, I think we expect the officers to do everything, and I don't think that's realistic. And I think about, you know, as people embrace me and when they greet me with a smile, it's so hard to return a frown to them. Or when they reach out to shake my hand, it's very difficult to keep my hands to my side. So here's what I'm asking. You know, we have a city, one of the largest cities in the nation. You know, at any given day, we have over 1 million people inside of Memphis and Shelby County. So I'm telling the citizens, and I appreciate your call, sir, but I just want you to hear what I am saying. The people have the ability to leave a lasting impression on the officers just by saying, "Thank you, officer. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for protecting us. I'm praying for you." It is hard to respond with kindness and sincerity with anything other than kindness and sincerity. See, the officers see me on the show. They've seen me in the hallway of CJC. Some of them have to sit in front of me in an uncomfortable position when they're in a disciplinary hearing, or they've seen me on TV. But they see more citizens than they see me any given day, 365 days a year. So if we all embrace each other and learn that we're all in this together,
Absolutely.
manners go both ways, because you're calling, you're nice and polite. Man, I feel that, so I give that back to you. And that's really what I'm saying, just going back to the basics. Officers are professional and courteous. Citizens are professional and courteous. We're not cussing at each other and trying to fight. You know, citizens are obeying what the officers say when they are in a stop. Those are the type of basic people skills that I'm asking all of us to go back to.
Wow, great point.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, Mr. McKinney, we thank you for your call.
Yeah, just one more. I know you got some more calls, but one more question, and you might be able to answer this. In any city that you got a model, I think New York cleaned up some situations, even though whatever the new mayor came in, and he put a new director of police, and he cleaned up New York.
Yes, sir.
Model city that you know that we might be. By the way, I think we got about 26 people that has killed.
30.
30.
30?
Yes, sir, 30.
And I asked Mike one time, I think last show or something, I said, Mike, this time last year, how many people were, you know? He said about 7 or 8. So that percentage is up there. I'll get off this phone, and God bless you, and you know, Scudderfield, and Smoking City, and Bear Valley, and New Chicago.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney, and I hope you're still listening, because you talked about New York. So let's talk about New York. New York implemented an aggressive stop and frisk program, but here lately, you know, the callers won't let me talk. But you know, New Yorkers came under a lot of scrutiny for their stop and frisk program. So you know, there's a balance. There's a balance between aggressive policing, where you're attacking guns, crime, and I think, you know, I want to make sure people understand that you know, crime is what we're fighting in Memphis. You know, and sometimes it looks like me, sometimes it doesn't look like me. You know, but we have to fight crime in a way that it does not create offense where offense is not due. And that means that, you know, I always tell officers that's a judicious use of force. Use force when it's necessary, but when it's not necessary, then, you know, you're going to get more accomplished with your mouth than with your fists.
Yes,
you know, because knuckles break, and we can talk all day.
Yes.
But I'd much rather us talk about it, come up to some type of agreement where we don't have to fight. Right. Because most people know, you know, you're wrong, okay? And I should just be able to say, hey, you know you're wrong. Put your hands behind your back. I'm going to put the handcuffs on you. We're going to go downtown. You already know the drill. Let's not make it more than what it is. Right. So I need officers to approach every single situation that way. You know, that they can, because we know there are exigent circumstances where if somebody's shooting at a police officer, pointing a gun, then we have another language we have to talk. Yes, sir. And so I encourage citizens, don't point guns at police officers. Don't shoot at police officers. But when you have an opportunity, let's all be professional and courteous, because we need MPD.
Yes. Go ahead, caller. You want to wake up Memphis?
Yes. How you doing?
All right, sir. How are you?
All right. I want to ask the police commissioner, what are you going to do about the Blue Cross? You're going to bring them back? But
Yes, sir. Commissioner is a promotion, so I appreciate the promotion. I think that the title is interim director, and you know, Blue Crush is something that's on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
You know, President Williams talked about it earlier. So we have never stopped doing Blue Crush. Blue Crush is data-driven policing. But what we're trying to do is something that I'm calling New Blue Crush. That's a work in progress. That's a combination of the Touch 10, and if you missed it, you know, we're asking our officers to get out of the squad car, touch 10 people, you know, shake their hand, talk to kids on the corner, talk to business leaders, talk to adults, but get out make contact with the community. You know, we want the community to support us, but we want the community to be accountable for their community.
Yes.
So here's what I'm asking you to do. You know, take your house back. So if you have a child, an unruly child in the house, if you're a victim of domestic violence, if there's things going on in your house like drug sales, illegal guns flowing in the house, or stolen merchandise, take back your house. So if we take back one house at a time, one street at a time, one block at a time, one neighborhood at a time, then we can have vibrant communities. So some people have approached me and said that, you know what, Chief, I don't have the money to do a lot of these things that I see in Germantown or in Cordova, whatever. I say, yeah, but you can pick up the paper in your yard. You can stop your kids from busting bottles in front of the yard. You can stop them from throwing rocks. When people come visit you, tell them to turn their music down. If your kids in the backyard shooting pistols, then we need to change that. If you need us to help you, we'll be very happy to come get those guns. So Blue Crush is data-driven policing that puts an officer in the right place at the right time, looking for the right crime. But we can do better. You know, it is not just about locking up a whole bunch of people because, you know, each year we probably make about 68,000 arrests.
Jesus.
That's a lot of arrests.
That's a lot.
A lot of arrests. But a lot of those individuals are repeat offenders. You know, we just talked about an individual who had 90 arrests this morning. Okay? So something in the system is not working. Okay? Something in the system is not working. So here's one of the things the citizens can do. You can pray for your police department. You can pray for this city. You can definitely pray for the MPA, and you can pray for your police director, because there is power in prayer. You can, when you see something, say something. If you know, I saw a mother on the news talking about her son that was one of the gentlemen, and I'm gonna use gentlemen lightly, went in the community center and fired a shot in Riverview Community Center, pointed guns at some of those young folks. I applaud that mother for coming out and saying she's talked to him, but mother, tell him to come turn himself in, okay? Come turn himself in, because we know that was wrong. Whatever the motivations were, 51 young people were threatened by that senseless act, and that's not acceptable. So all these individuals belong to somebody. They have a mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, friend that we know the difference between right and wrong, and I'm ready for people to quit playing. Come on out. We're going to call an ace a ace, a spade a spade. We know the difference between right and wrong, and we got to cut all this foolishness out, because people are dying and they don't get to come back. Not on this side. You may see them somewhere else, but you won't see them walking the streets of Memphis, Tennessee. What'd you say? What'd you say, Mr. McKinney?
I said they'll see him in heaven.
See him in heaven.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you so.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you so much for your call, caller.
Okay.
All right.
And I think a lot of people get confused when they're talking about Blue Crush, kind of getting confused thinking about how it was presented to them a few years back. And what you're talking about is more of a community type of related Blue Crush.
A combination of both.
Both, right. Go ahead, caller. You on Wake Up Memphis.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
Yeah, this is for Mike.
Yes, ma'am.
Which Mike, ma'am? Because you have Mr. President Mike Williams, and then you have interim police director Mike Rawlings.
Mike Williams.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? Hello?
I'm talking about Mike Williams.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mike, you was talking about having community centers and stuff for kids and stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
And that president just was talking about you had that for kids and stuff, and some of them, I don't know if they're a kid or not, come up in there shooting
Right.
with the kids up in there praying. What you gonna do about that?
Well, see, at the time I was talking about community centers, when I was out in the community, I was talking about establishing safety zones and kind of working in conjunction with what Interim Director Rollins is saying. I actually wanted to put police in community centers, but understand that a community center, the way we see them now, they're not community centers. They're basketball floors, but we should be putting computer labs in there. We should be putting activities in there. We should be putting game rooms, music rooms, something to draw the kids in. And when you have the kids out of the streets, in the community centers, and even when I talked about having the police in there, not necessarily to police the kids, but to establish a safety zone so that you don't have individuals like what happened at Kansas Community Center. But I also talked about using them as a dual role, as truancy centers. And what I mean by that is when young people were out in the community after curfew, officers would pick these individuals up, take them off the street, and take them to the community center, not to juvenile court, but to the community center to put them in a safety zone so that we could contact their parents. But then it even went on further than that. As they're in the community center, and if they repeated the violation maybe a couple of times, then we would have to get the parents to actually possibly volunteer for parenting classes, because if these children are out there running around in the middle of the night and their parents don't know where they are or they don't have control of them, just like the director was saying, we all have to get involved, and we have to take back our houses and take back our communities and take back our blocks. See, we want to blame everybody else for our problems except us, but we're the ones that are dying in our communities. These are our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews that are the ones committing the crimes. So all of these things that are happening, they're happening by people that we know, and that's the crazy part to me. But I do understand that we have to have viable activities for our young people. And at some point, we can either, and I said on our intro, we can either invest in them on the front end or we're going to invest in them on the back end, and that's to incarcerate them. So why not beef up, build up our community centers and make them places that the young people in the communities would want to grow and congregate? And yes, if in fact we use them for dual roles, we may be able to dedicate resources to those places because that's where everybody is in the neighborhood. So that's what I meant. So it would have been a safety zone, ma'am.
Yeah, can I comment?
All right, then.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I comment on that, Mike?
Go ahead, sir. Interim director.
You know, I know some of those community center directors.
Yes.
And, you know, they may have an opposing view because I've seen some great community centers where, you know, basketball is the draw. You know, we know that our young people like to play basketball.
Right.
But also, you know, Whitehaven Community Center is a great example. Every time I go in there are young ladies learning how to dance.
Right.
There are young men playing basketball.
Right.
In another corner, there are kids getting tutored. If I go out to the Fraser area, you know, there are a number of community centers out there. Ed Rice, I see the same thing.
Right.
Yes, there are kids playing basketball, but there are tutoring, mentoring going on in those places. So I think that we need to enhance what's going on in the community center. Let's support the positive things that are going on.
Right.
Let's erase the negative because, you know, behind some of the community centers, kids are playing crap. Okay, they're participating in illegal activity, and that's why you have to have law enforcement there to restore order.
Correct.
To make sure it is a safety zone. But we also need to police each other because it is unacceptable for anyone to walk into a community center, pull out a pistol, point it, and fire it in the ceiling or anywhere in that or around that. It's just unacceptable.
That's
and
right.
we have to do better.
Yes.
Absolutely. Go ahead, caller. You on Wake Up Memphis.
Hello?